like to call the Weaver City School District Board meeting to order. There it is. Can you call it roll, please?
Mr. Blind?
Here.
Mr. Blowers? Here. Mr. Carr?
Here.
Ms. Nickum? Here. And Mr. Weber?
Here. Mr. Carr, if you would lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have the resolutions of recognition. Are they unique?
No.
Special reports.
Yes, 5-year forecast.
Okay.
Turn on the screen. This is going to be an update from October's 5-year forecast to May of this year. As required by law, we have to update it twice a year. All right, thank you. All right, so again, this is an update from the October forecast, general operating revenues and expenditures through May of this year forecast. The revenues is fiscal year 19 increasing slightly 2% when compared to the October forecast. And that is primarily due to taking the NDA's revenues into our accounts as we move NDA to be part of our operations. That's why, and as well as grant reallocations that we get every year, either federal or state reallocations. The total fiscal year 19 revenues are expected to be up by 6% when compared to fiscal year 18 revenues. On the other side, we got the expenditures are down by less than 1% this year compared to the October's forecast. And in looking into the data, it's primarily due to less purchases for materials and supplies so far this year. At the end of the fiscal year 18 or 19, we're expecting that our expenditures are going to be roughly 6% compared to last year. That should be fiscal year 18 expenditures. However, expenditures, and you're going to see it down there on another slide, are going to start exceeding our revenues somewhere in fiscal year 2021, which then decreases our reserves moving and years out. The need for the renewal of the income tax will be necessary in 2022. This is the chart I was alluding to. The blue line is our revenues. As you can tell, that in fiscal year 18 we had a little spike, and then from 19 through 23 kind of remains flat, and that's where you take into consideration that 1 to 2% revenues year over year. However, our expenditures, the red line, it's creeping up. It started in 19 to 20, and then in 21 going to start breaking apart from our revenues, and that's where we start spending more than we take in, which then the blue line at the bottom, it coordinates because our revenues, reserve balances start going down due to that gap of expenditures exceeding revenues. In 2022 is when our income tax is going to expire, and we need to renew the income tax. And also, this doesn't take into account what's happening right now with the state budget. The House just passed a new version of the state budget, and compared to the executive budget, it looks like our district is going to be doing well, but we need to wait for the Senate's version to come up with in some time during this month, which you have another set of budgets in there, and then hopefully by June 30th, the governor will be signing the budget for the next 2 years. That's when we'll take into account what happened to that state formula changes and into this 5-year forecast, and you'll see that in in the next update that we do in November.
Does the blue line include the tax being renewed or no?
It does include the renewed.
Okay.
That's included. The only parts it doesn't take into account right now will be the state
The unknowns.
budget. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So our revenues are expected to be around $79 million. As you can tell, 57% comes from the state and 43% of local sources. So you can tell that we are heavily dependent from the state funding for our operations in the school district. That's why it's very important to monitor what's going to happen with that next biennial in the state when they determine the next biennial budget for that. So what are some challenges that we have in our operating revenues? Is to continue to increase local revenues outside real estate taxes and income tax revenues. Continue to support our community for renewing the existing levies that we have, which is the emergency levy and income tax levy. Again, the uncertainty of the state aid, we don't know exactly what that funding is going to look like, but we'll know sometime after the June 30th. Currently, we are a district, it's a capped district. What that means is that we cannot get less than what we received the prior fiscal year. That's what we're capped, nor we can get more. So that's where our revenue is coming from the state right now. And then again, we got federal mandates that are not being funded, which we need to fund those mandates. So we need to find a way to replenish those unfunded mandates that we are sending by the federal government or state government. The general expenditure for the fiscal year, we're estimating to be around almost $74 million. When you take wages and benefits together, 75% is related to wages and benefits. Benefits also includes the medical and dental benefits. And the next highest item in that is the purchased services, about 21% of that. Now we see this graph here where we're stacked, where we see how our wages are increasing from 2016 all the way to 2023. You can tell it's gradually increasing, and what our revenues, the blue in that, are increasing, but a very, very slightly movement from year over year. And again, we got the purchase service, which is the next line item that we depend on, is the biggest on top of that stack right there. As you can tell, a lot of the purchase services are for all those operational needs that we have, utilities, transfer to community schools, tuition to other institutions, ESC services that we receive from them, etc. So when you take the revenues and expenditures over a period of time, and this case will be within the 5-year forecast, you can tell that we peak at the 2019 and 2020, but then from that point down, we start going down on the curve over here on this graph as revenues are exceeding as expenditures are exceeding our revenues. In 2021, it's taking a hit on the cash reserve that we have moving forward. We got to look at what our cash balance is. Regularly, a 30-day cash balance is a responsible way by the Government Finance Association. But towards the end, we'll see where we are as far as our cash balance and how many days we can operate. In conclusion, our revenue continues to remain flat. A 1% growth year over year. Our expenditures continue to increase at a rate of about 4.3%, and exceeds our revenues in 2021, as I mentioned before. So what we need to do is we need to look at programs with our affecting the quality of those programs, and also to maintain sustainability, while at the same time, improving our social emotional programs that I think are very needed moving forward, and we are doing very good at that over the years, but we need to continue doing so. Long term, we need to watch the future state budget, not only these next two biennial budget, but the following two biennial budgets. So 21, 22, and then 23 and 24 as well, to see how we're going to measure against that. Again, remember, we're about 57% dependent on that budget, so it is important for us to take a look at that long term. And again, maintaining our stability in the district finances with timely renewals of all the two levies that we have in place. With that being said, any questions about the forecast summary? This will be on the website tomorrow, and also the notes to the forecast are going to be on the website for anyone that would like to see it. It'll be there. Questions? Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions? Do we need a motion to accept the 5-year forecast?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Yep.
Mr. Blowers?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
And Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Communications from the floor. So is there anyone who would like to come and speak for the board? 3 minutes. I need you to state your name, your address, and what you have to say. Having none, we'll move on. Treasurer's recommendations.
Yes, we have 3 recommendations. The approval of board meeting minutes for the regular meeting April 8, 2019. The approval of April 2019 financial reports. And the approval of fiscal year 2019 permanent supplemental appropriation resolutions. Today, we cancel our finance committee meeting, which will normally go through our finances through the months of March. But I did send an email to Mr. Weber and Mr. Blind. And overall, the revenues are about up 4%, or 4 million, or 7% from last fiscal year. And our expenditures are up $1.6 million, or 3% from last fiscal year. Through this point in time, which a 3% increment in expenditures, it's very maintainable, and I think it tells us that we're doing a good job on that perspective. Leaving a cash balance of about roughly $37 million through April of 2019. Yeah, we still have, May and June, 2 more months of operations to determine where we're going to end up. But overall, our revenues and expenditures and cash balance are in target with what we've been projecting so far.
I did get a chance to review that today. I was very happy with it, so.
Okay, that's it.
Need a motion?
So,
Second? Second. Would you call the roll?
Mr. Blind?
yes.
Mr. Blowers?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
And Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Superintendent's recommendation.
Okay, make sure you call attention to your addendum, as this is a busy time. Barb, do we have any more? Barb's been bouncing around all day and stuff, so, retirements or resignations, you have a list of 3. I want to make sure I'll read these so that you make sure you have the addendums. Catherine Davis has a resignation today. Katie Schaefer, Hillary Chowski, Tonda Sapp, Matt Ryan. Also supplemental contracts are on the agenda. Leave of absence, also for Karen Huffman, our speech and language pathologist. And then the appointments and assignments, and you'll notice, hopefully, get a chance to meet. We have a whole table full of new folks here, and we're very excited about this group. And I will tell you, if you're in here in May, you're the best of the best, and you get green dot when our folks speak to you. And I want to compliment Barbara and her group I know Mindy and Maura go out and help, but along with that, some principals have been out, and I don't know how many job fairs we attended this year, a lot. But we get out early, and we want the best of the best. Okay is not good enough here in Newark, and so this table here would be a lot better than okay. And I'm putting some big shoes on your feet right now and your expectations in this district, but you can see, you new folks, one example of something Newark has to offer you, and that's financial stability. And not only what Mr. Valaderas just showed us, but financial stability with progressive thinking in our classrooms. We make a lot of changes and stay up to date, those type of things, and we're very excited about that. I will mention too, we also at 100% of our teachers who took the RESA passed. We got that back last week?
Yes, sorry, 100%.
100%. And that's due to a mentor program that's second to none in the state of Ohio. ODE will contact us and come down and view that, which Ms. Quackenbush oversees, our mentor program. And so not only do you have a lot to offer our students and our families, but our district has a lot to offer you, because your education, I know you don't want to hear this because you just got your diploma, is just beginning in life right now. So we're excited to have them. So you just raise your hand because I'm going to read down through these names if you're in here. So we have Adam Curry, Megan Brown, Alexander Chapman, Mitchell Cousins, Fred Davis, Jessica Davis, Shamika Hawkins.
I saw that.
Raise it high. You'll be proud of who you are in here, right? Yeah. You can see I was very proud of you guys coming up. I like your eye contact and your conversations with our board members. And so that's what we want to teach our kids. Look people in the eye, tell them who you are. Be proud of who you are. I think I did a Shamika Hawkins, Ashley Lopez, Jeff Petrie, Deanna Sinadad, Joseph Sarsfield, Logan Stroud, Kelsey White, and I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Ashley Williams? She brought grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles and the whole clan with her tonight, which we're proud of. And you know, if you didn't know this, Dad sits behind her there, and she's got big shoes to fill, because we're very happy and excited about what Larry does in our district. And I can tell you that apple hit the ground and rolled in the tree trunk on Mom and Dad. Great people. So I just set you up to be really good. You better be really good. I know you are. Excited to have you. Let's see. Is it Keisha Brodsky? Okay. Kendall Hager. Catherine Keefe. Sandra Miller. Antonio Rees, who is going to take Master Sergeant Soto's position. He's not here tonight. And Rachel Womeldorf, if I pronounce that right. Rachel might not be here. So those are our new folks, and again, happy to have you and welcome to I guess we should do the board vote before we clap. Supplemental contracts, salary and position assignments. Also on there, item 7. Recommended substitutes list to be approved for 18-19 school year daily rate of $100. Whole list of those. So items 1 through 7. Oh, excuse me. I want to also add on that under 8. Yeah, items 1 through 8. The main one on that is the list of all the certified staff members up for contract. I don't want to forget that. Our current ones that are in your appendix, and the approval of the SRO agreement. So items 1 through 8.
So
Second.
Second.
Mr. Blind,
yes.
Mr. Blevins,
Yes.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
and Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yeah. Now we yeah. I got two.
The other was a dry run.
Yeah, the other was dry run. again, welcome. We're excited to have you. Under B, students and curriculum, special education contracts with Ridgeway Academy, Boundless Behavior Health, and Hogland Learning Center. Under item 2, approval of the graduation Newark High School list, and B, approval of the Newark Digital Academy graduates, and Mr. Bowman sitting out there. Thumbs up, Tom, if it's been a good year and you got a lot of kids crossing the line.
It's been a great year.
It's been a great year. Tom's been very excited about that. As we can see, as Warren and I and Julio have been signing diplomas, I think we'll sign them for the next month.
Kevin's finished yet?
No, I'm done.
I just got them, Tom. So, yeah,
I'm not bragging, but I did all of mine in a day, 400.
yeah. So, yeah. I just got them, so come over Friday, Tom, and I'll have it for you. Yeah. Item C, approval of participation in state and federally funded programs that are listed below. Item D, Newark High School limited bus service, and I think Tom and Tim might help me on this. This is about year 9 of that.
We brought it back the year that we came back on the board, which would have been.
Year 8.
Yeah, much appreciated. Just so you know, at one time the district cut high school and middle school busing, and the board brought it back, and every year we approve that. Another thing that's great that the Board of Education in Newark does, approval of school fees. And F, the student handbook, and we work very hard on those school fees to make sure they are consistent. No gifts at this time, and I'll stop there, and then we'll do item D on the side.
Motion.
I'll move.
3010, Ben will second.
I do want to point out how many times you see the SALT committee here. It is the hardest working committee we have.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure Bev is sitting on the bench watching this.
But
She will.
Live stream, get live stream.
Yeah.
In between chicken and goose.
Yeah.
Is that where it is? That's where she's
Yeah, somewhere in
Just wanna
there.
make sure.
And who seconded that motion? Mr. Blind?
I will.
Mr. Blowers?
Call the roll, please.
Okay, Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Blowers?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
And Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Okay, under item D, recommend the board approve the bid procedure for the Hillview boilers. If you'll remember, we had a boiler blowout there, and Larry needs to get that done this summer because it'll get cold out there next winter if he doesn't have an opportunity to do that. Item 2, again, very proud of this, suspension of extracurricular transportation fees. I hear a lot of comments from our support groups, or booster groups, on how nice that is. And once again, since we've done that, we haven't seen a spike in the transportation cost up. So our coaches and directors have done a good job of maintaining and not adding a bunch because now the board's paying for it. So that's very nice, very appreciated. Item 3, ASCD purchase agreement for curricular issues, Discovery Education, under item 4. And so recommend item D under business.
So,
Second.
just for the sake of those of you that are new to the district, this talk about the extracurricular transportation fees. Back in about 2007, when the district was experiencing some financial problems, we went to both pay to play and also the extracurriculars had to pay for their transportation, which was running our booster clubs just ragged. And they really weren't getting much done other than paying for transportation. So as the financial picture improved, we first suspended the pay to play, which allowed a lot of kids to get back into extracurriculars who just couldn't afford it. And then here a few years ago, as we saw that mostly the athletics, also the fine arts, were having troubles meeting some of the needs that the booster clubs typically meet, we did away or suspended the transportation fees so they can spend their money on other needs. So this has been a process the district's gone through. It's worked really well the last few years. Nice things.
Okay.
Mr. Blind,
Yes.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Blowers,
Yes.
and Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, under item 4, Board of Education reports recommendation.
I can, you
You're the board president, man, you tell me what to do.
can. All right, go for it.
All right. I'll do what you asked me to do, Warren. It's recommended the board announce the intent to adopt the following policies. File 5610, removal, suspension, expulsion, and permanent exclusion of students. 561003, emergency removal of students. 744002, web accessibility, content, apps, and services, and 8500 food service. Adoption of board policies. Recommend the board adopt policies listed below, as shown in the appendix, and as announced at the April 8, 2019 meeting of the Board of Education. 6320, purchasing and bidding. 6423, use of credit cards. 7300, disposition of real property and personal property.
I'll move. Second.
Everything came to be the subcommittee, finance committee,
Okay. Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Blowers,
Yes.
Mr. Blind,
Yes.
and Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 5, board discussion.
You're gonna let me move?
Yes.
You don't want to start down here. First of all, welcome to the new people. I know some of you have ties to Newark and the area. To the rest of you, Newark is sort of like moss on the north side of the tree. For some reason, it grows on you. You know, that may seem funny now, but in 2 or 3 years, you'll be thinking, I think I found a home. You know, there's just something about this place that, I don't know, maybe it's the Board of Education. I don't know.
Probably,
Yeah, but there's something about it. On the flip side, congratulations and thank you to all the people who are retiring. Obviously, we've got a large group of retirees, or we wouldn't have a large group of new hires. I guess you got some big shoes to fill in some cases. Just wish those retirees the best. Last week, I spent one evening at the Key Club end of year, whatever you call it, ceremony, I guess, and another evening at the Junior ROTC annual dinner. And it never ceases to amaze me when I look at these groups, what our young people are accomplishing. You know, the Key Club, I think there's 75 members this year, the largest group they ever had. And when they go through the list of projects they were in and the fundraisers they had, it's just like, when did they find time to do their studies? It's just unreal. And the Junior ROTC folks, which is almost 300 students, you know, for those of you that are new, we have the largest Junior ROTC chapter in the state. Almost 300 out of a high school, about 15 or 1,600 participate in Junior ROTC. And to see these people and, you know, their instructors, it's just absolutely unbelievable. So you take Key Club and Junior ROTC combined, you're talking about 350 students involved in those, and they are 350 really good young people. You know, anybody who doesn't believe we've got good young people at Newark High School, I don't know, they ought to go out behind the woodshed with Mike Blowers or something. they just don't understand. And speaking of the young people, I counted, I believe it was 442 names on the 2 lists of graduates. And I'm sure they're all watching this right now. You know, it's something they live for. And I just want to congratulate all of them. The ones that are on the fence, it's a final sprint, get there, work hard these last week or two, and we'll see you on the 25th. All get to shake our hands.
So exciting to see the enthusiasm from each and every one of you. I just retired and you're just starting. And when I met you, I had that feeling all over you. And I thank you for that. You are the most important people to those children during the school day. And we're here to support you. And Mr. Yu was absolutely right. We have a lot here in this district to offer you, and you obviously have a lot to offer our children. So thanks for being here, and we'll be around, okay? Thank you.
Welcome. You guys are indeed, some of you will be dealing with my kids, so just saying. The time they get stuff done is between 11 and 1, Tom. They're busy until about 11 o'clock at night, then they stay up till 1, go to River Road or Tim Hortons in the morning, get a couple shots of coffee, and they come back to school. That's just the high school kids. The middle school ones don't drive yet. Hopefully. But it's been a wonderful year. That's exciting to hear that many names on the grad list. I don't think we've had that many in a long, long time. And so it just shows that we're doing a good job. You guys are coming into a great situation. Financially, we're good. The people you're going to be working with are fantastic surrounding you. And they're surpassed only by the quality of the kids in our district. Fantastic young people. A lot of them, you'll fall in love with them. Elementary ones, they will adore seeing your face, and you will adore seeing theirs, and that's going to be wonderful stuff. I'm looking forward to that. There's still some things to go, fine arts programs, softball, baseball tournaments are still in play. We've got some people still competing in track.
Softball tomorrow night at Pickerington.
Softball tomorrow night. And there's just a lot, there's still a lot going on. A lot of our students are busy. A lot of them are trying to wrap up, get final projects done, that kind of thing. They've negotiated some kind of deal with their teachers that they can give it to this point or whatever. But it's awesome to be a part of it. It's a great time to be a cat.
Well, I want to congratulate the 400 plus students graduating this year. It's always a pleasure to see that many students graduating. And I want to congratulate you, the new staff that is going to be in 2019-20 school year. I wish you the best of luck.
Okay, again, to that table, welcome. And I will share with you, I'm ending my 10th year in Newark. We'll start year 11 in August. And I'm sitting here thinking about everything that this district has to offer. Not just wonderful kids and wonderful parents and a great community, but believe me when I tell you, this district has done a lot more for me in 10 years than I've done for this district, and it'll do the same thing for you. I think they've touched on that about you. Our kids need us. They need you. You're entering a great profession, very rewarding, and I'm excited for you. 33 years into this, I'm really excited that you see so many young kids excited about being involved with little kids. It's a great place, and you're going to really like it. So congratulations to you, Julio. Thanks for sharing that 5-year forecast. But more importantly, to us in this room, the directors and myself, and our principals and our teachers here, thank you for helping lead us through your explanation of finances are extremely helpful to us, folks who don't know school finance like you do. but you're always part of our team and always part of our discussion. And I would tell you, it's great to have a treasurer that cares about kids first and numbers second. And he finds a way to help support. I like that social emotional piece up there, and I can tell you that Julio is very helpful to us as a district that way. So thank you for what you do here. I'd like to congratulate, as we got a group of new folks coming in. There's a group on the other side of that going out that have been fantastic teachers for us. We have our teacher retire banquet tomorrow night out at the Trout Club. I'm excited for those folks who are retiring. They've done a wonderful job and very much appreciated by the district. Talked about some of the things our students are involved in. A couple things I wrote down here that touched me in the last couple days. Number one, Barb shared with me, because she's on the board at Big Brothers Big Sisters, a list of what our schools have done for Big Brothers Big Sisters, who does so much for our kids in our schools. And it was exciting to see that Carson, year in and year out, leads that fundraising. I'm talking about a building with upper 80% free and reduced lunch, reaching out to our community and sharing there. And I know we've got Carson teacher in the back, a proud Carson teacher back there. Please share with your staff how much we appreciate their leadership with our students down there. And they just blew everybody, I'm not the Newark City, they blew everybody away to count on fundraising. And that's just great to see. And so, because we do appreciate Big Brothers Big Sisters, what they do. And one of the board members mentioned about how good our kids are. I reach out to the high school. Tom, maybe you can help me with who organized the community service effort up there.
Barron Smith.
Barron Smith, yes. I don't want to get in trouble with Barron. That's Barron Smith who organizes that. And Tom, maybe you can share with us how many students we had out in our community that day helping out.
We had over close to 500 students that were out in different areas, including working around the high school and planting flowers and working around the high school as well.
Yeah, and thanks for your leadership up there, Tom. And make sure Barron watches the program on there, because Barron, in all seriousness, he works very hard at that. And that's just a great thing for our students to learn how to do, especially in a community that's so giving and caring to community, is to show that our students are right there with them. And they do a heck of a job that day, so we appreciate that. Other than that, excited about all the year-end activities and in the superintendent world, and we're all in that there. We're focused on next year. We've got we've got some great things planned at the end of the year with 2 days of professional development that's going to be outstanding. I think some of our new teachers coming to that, or they let the cat out of the bag. We're working on giving them that opportunity to come. And then we've got a great start to the school year, next school year, and it's a great time to be a cat. Warren?
Okay, first thing is, if you could pass on to the retirees that, I'm sorry I'll have to miss the dinner tomorrow night, but I have to go to San Antonio on an emergency. But, I mean, to do this for 25, 35 years, it's amazing. I mean, I have a lot more patience than I have. So if you could pass that on, I really appreciate it. We were talking about our district and some of the things that have happened. First of all, I'm like Doug. I'm not originally from here. I came here 25 years ago from Germany to Newark, Ohio. I'm not from Ohio. I'm from Chicago. My wife's from Texas. When we turned off the highway, it was a culture shock. Just
Not like the south end of Chicago.
no. But I've had 2 kids that graduated from Newark High School. One went to the University of Cincinnati, one went to Tiffin. I have a grandson that graduated a couple of years ago. He's at Artavine. I have a 5-year-old going on 30-year-old who's at kindergarten here. So it is a wonderful community, and we've grown to love it, and the people are, you'll find that they're very friendly and very giving. Also, I think we've done well for ourselves. We recently had Earth Day, and the governor actually came down and spent the morning with us. Along with, we have a state senator whose kids go to Newark High School. Some of them have graduated from Newark High School. We have a state representative who lives in the next town over. So we're in the limelight a lot, but they come to us and we get a lot of support from them. So that makes it great for us. The Air Force ROTC, I attended that Friday night. Actually, it is the Air Force ROTC, not just the ROTC. I might have some prejudice in that, but I'll own that. Say again now?
I heard you were in uniform.
Still, yeah, 25 years later, I can get a little bit of adjustment. Still looks good to me.
Looking good.
Yeah, I did have to, I could only eat a little bit of the food, I had to tuck it in. And finally, for you all, we want to thank you all for coming to us to teach. We really appreciate that. We like new, young ideas. We're looking forward to you all, maybe even living here and raising a family and having your own kids go to school. But our kids are our most important thing. A person said, once told me that children make up 41% of the population, but 100% of the future. And so I thank you, I applaud you for taking your time to come here to teach for us. Thank you. Woo. So, are we going into executive session tonight?
Shoot out
Hmm?
of there. Shoot out of there.
Okay. If there are no further questions, call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you very much. I'll move with adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Blind, Mr. Blowers,
Yes.
and Mr. Weber.
Yes.
We are adjourned.
All right, thank you.
You quit early.